met in college at Texas A&M, and we just so happened we went to high school together. Didn't really cross paths there.
He was the catcher of the baseball team, and I was on the yearbook and the choir. So we weren't really like crossing paths exactly. I think we're really lucky to have had a long foundation before we had kids. We dated 5 years before we got married. We were married 5 years before we had our first kid. So we knew each other really well. And we had kind of, I guess I would say, probably the year before we got married, we really kind of started pursuing God more intentionally.
We got married in the Catholic Church, and they force you to take classes in order to get married. They would ask a bunch of questions that were intentional to kind of cause conflict. And
what's your least favorite thing about your mother-in-law? That was really one of the questions. And your favorite thing.
It made us talk about a lot of things, but it also made us talk about how are we going to raise our children? What's the path of our family?
I think going in, we knew it was a serious, not just a commitment like the secular world would call it a commitment. We took it seriously as a covenant from the beginning.
There's times where we're convicted, kind of focus on our own spiritual beings and
in our marriage.
Yeah.
Because it falls to the wayside sometimes. Then it's a matter of knowing how many hours there really are in a day. So like he has a group of guys right now that they meet on Monday mornings, and they're at a coffee shop to talk about being intentional dads. You know, we find time for date night. Tonight I have a date with some girls. So we have to do that. We just have to make time for each other, I think.
Yeah, and the kids are getting of the age where it's easier just to, I've got them, go on.
Mm-hmm.
So the earlier years, there's a lot more anxiety.
Well, yeah, it's harder for me to leave at that age too, I think. Yeah, I think just finding time for each other and trying to recognize that in the other person, which is hard sometimes. To say, hey, like I'm exhausted, but have I stopped and thought, does he need a break? Or when's the last time he went golfing? Or whatever the thing is that's gonna recharge him too.
Yeah, I mean, you need to enjoy each of the phases and be present and intentional. At the same time, you do have to step away and give yourself some time, give your spouse some time, even though it will raise anxiety and be more difficult. But in the end, I mean, you can't just stay in the trenches the entire time without taking a break, recharging.
I didn't know if I'd want kids growing up, but everything about being together has been really natural to me, I think. And so it's nice. I still want to hang out with them all the time. And it's been 16 years this year that we've been together. So that feels like a win.